Hello and welcome back to your geography class. I'm Sukhdeep Kaur, your geography teacher. I hope by now you have learned my name. So no need for further introduction of my name. I got that. Today we are going to continue our chapter number 3 because within this chapter we have discussed about and we are discussing about the entire drainage pattern or system of India. Within that, we have categorized the drainage system of India into two parts, Himalayan river system and peninsular. So, Himalayan is entirely covered with the discussion of three prominent rivers that completely covers the entire passage of the Himalayan river system along with tributaries and distributaries. Those rivers are Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra, and we have discussed their A to Z concept. Now is the time to discuss about the peninsular rivers. So we are going to discuss major peninsular rivers. They are 6 in count. I hope you remember because in overview I have stated that. If not so, if you don't remember, I'm doing it right now. So there are 6 major or prominent or significant. There are various synonyms. You can use whatever you want to. So there are 6 prominent rivers within the peninsular river system. They are Narmada, Tapi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, and lastly comes for Mahanadi. So let's discuss the entire peninsular drainage system along with their tributaries particularly. Then here is a first slide. The peninsular rivers. Main water divide in peninsula. Water divide, I hope you remember, where an elevated or upland divides the water flow, single water flow or single flow of any water body into two, splits up into two. That calls for water divide. So, main water divide in peninsular India is formed by the Western Ghats. Western Ghats, now where exactly it is located? I'm just drawing a tiny map, not to for entire India, just for the southern part, so that the location should be properly known to you and acknowledged by you. So, Western Ghats, we are talking about the western part of India, and which is a water body that lies by the western part of India. I'm not talking about rivers, I am talking about open water body. So, there lies a sea, and its name is Arabian Sea. So, this is the western part in the concerns of open water body. Now we are talking about Western Ghats. So there lies the Western Ghats in continuity, hardly split up. So the major water divide within the peninsular river is formed by the Western Ghats. Western Ghats run from north to south, from north to south part, and it closes to the western coast. So it sums up over here till the western coast, and extreme western coast point is in Kerala. That is the extreme southern state of India as well. Within the western part, within the eastern part, there lies the extreme southern state of India, Tamil Nadu. Moving ahead, here is given the length of the major, although 6 are prominent, but out of those 6 we do have the rivers and their distance. In the terms of out of 6, these 3 are the longer one, but they are not longer than the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra river. So these are longer as compared to the Himalayan river system. These are a bit shorter. So although they are longer, but still they are a bit shorter than the Himalayan river system. Here is their distance given: 1465 kilometer, 1400 and 312 kilometers. So what comes at the first place? Godavari. Godavari is the largest river of the peninsular river system, and which is the largest river of the Himalayan river system? There lies the Ganga. So for that part, as it is the longest in the southern part, it is also known as Deccan Ganga. In Hindi, Dakshin Ganga. Moving forward with the discussion of the topic itself, most prominent or most important peninsular rivers flow eastward. There is the two directional flow of the peninsular rivers. Again, with the help of the map, within the western direction, within the eastern direction, and in here we are talking about eastward flow into the Bay of Bengal. Here lies the Arabian Sea by the west side, and in the east side there lies the Bay of Bengal, the open water bodies. Got that? So eastward flow is of 4 rivers out of the 6. They do drain their water into Bay of Bengal. Their names are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. So two river remains at back, Narmada and Tapi. They do have their westward flow within the Arabian Sea. We are going to discuss that also. Here now, for this while, eastward flow is of these four major rivers that brings their water into the Bay of Bengal, an open water body. These rivers makes deltas, although every river makes delta. Whether we are talking about the Himalayan rivers, whether we are talking about the peninsular rivers. As what is delta? I have already told you in the discussion of Himalayan river system. Let me recall it once again for you. Whenever a river drains its water into an open water body, so at this point where it is releasing its water into the open water body, that is not confined in its particular passage, it is wide open water body. So at that part, their mouths become widened, and some of the sediments brought along with the river water, they just get deposited on its way into the triangular shape. So those triangular patterns are known as deltas, and we have already discussed that. The need is to recall. Then there are numerous, I won't say countless, but yeah, good in count. So there are numerous small streams. Again, streams are the passages or the flow of water, but not having the quantity of water in bulk. So there are numerous small streams flowing west of the Western Ghats. So there are certain streams that originate from the Western Ghats, and they do flow towards the western part of the Western Ghats. It means towards the Arabian Sea itself. So the draining basins of the, or the drainage basins of the peninsular rivers are comparatively smaller in size. Now, with whom we are comparing the size of the drainage system? We are talking about the peninsular drainage system now. So, we are comparing it with the Himalayan drainage system that completely lies, that completely flows or occupies or covers the part of South India. Here is the Narmada and Tapi river. These are the west flowing rivers. So, the only long peninsular rivers. These are the longer one as compared to the other four, but among them, Godavari is the largest. So, overall, Godavari is the largest river, but Narmada and Tapi are also the longer ones. And we have already discussed their distance as well, which flows west and make estuaries. Now you must be wondering, what do you mean by this term? Estuaries. So again, this is a geographical term considered for a particular land feature, land shape, land form. Where is it exactly being constructed by the nature? Of course, there is no contribution of humans. So estuaries are formed where the fresh water of the river is going to meet up the salty water of the ocean. So of course, none else than the place called the mouth of the river. So mouth of the river approximately is the place where the salty water and fresh water are going to meet, and they do meet up. So over there, estuaries are formed. Again, there is just the flow of the major rivers. You can see Narmada and Tapi, they do flow towards the westward part. And here are the other rivers. Godavari, the longest one, flows in the Bay of Bengal. Krishna, Bay of Bengal, Kaveri, and ahead goes the Mahanadi river. So that was just the flow, although you have the map in your book as well. Now we are going to discuss about the entire drainage basin covered by these 6 rivers along with the tributaries as well. So first is Narmada basin. We will discuss from where does these rivers originate as well, and wherever they give their waters outlet. So the Narmada rises in the Amarkantak hills in Madhya Pradesh. So origin state is Madhya Pradesh from Amarkantak hills. Every river, no matter we are talking about one or we are talking about 100, they do rise from an elevated land. Elevated means, the mountain peaks or the hills itself. So this also rises from the Amarkantak hills that are situated in Madhya Pradesh. It flows towards the west in a rift valley. Valley, I hope everyone understand, the region lying between the two mountain slopes or mountains itself, that calls for valley. Now, what is the meaning of the word rift? Wherever or whenever, due to some natural processes, a crack appears on the surface of this valley. Of course, on the hardest part, that is the rock material itself, that lies, what lies in the rocks. rocks are the hardest material comprising various features, that is something else. So whenever the uppermost layer of the rocks, it affects with the natural process, and what appears onto the surface of the rock? Cracks. So whenever cracks appear, they got widened by the time. Again, natural processes are responsible. So time comes when entirely this rift or this simple crack is going to create a huge a huge space between the two land masses, that is rift valley. So it flows towards the west in a rift valley. Now, which particular feature has created this rift valley? So formed due to the faulting process, as I was stating, due to some natural processes. So faulting is that process. What happens in faulting? Due to the temperature, particularly temperature affects the most. So with the help of temperature, of course, other weathering agents are there. Likewise, air is there, water is there. So prominently temperature and water affects the uppermost layer of the rock particle or the rocks itself, and frequently the crack starts appearing onto the surface of the rock, and slowly, gradually, it takes the shape of a rift, a huge rift that ultimately, I won't say convert, but that ultimately leads to the formation of a rift valley. On its way to the sea, the Narmada creates many picturesque locations, beautiful places, as in Marble Rocks and Dhuadhar Falls. Let's read that. So, first of all, Marble Rocks, they are found near Jabalpur. Here, Narmada flows through a deep gorge, valleys, gorges. I won't say they are the similar kind of features, but their origin is same. The process of the formation is same, just the outcome is different. Valleys and gorges. And about the Marble Rock itself, how are they formed? The river plunges, it suddenly drops with the huge speed over the steep rocks, and that is how the Marble Rocks are. Then Namami Devi Narmade. Remember, for the Gange, a cleansing program, cleansing of Ganga river, and moreover for the conservation of the Ganga river, to keep it pollution free. Similar are the causes, that has been initiated, started by the government just for the conservation part of the rivers and to make them pollution free. This Namami Devi Narmade program was initiated, started by the government, a scheme undertaken by Madhya Pradesh government, Narmada River Conservation Mission, just to conserve the river water of Narmada itself. Moving ahead, all tributaries of Narmada are very short. As Narmada and Tapi are not that long as compared to the Himalayan rivers, still, whatever their length is, some of the tributaries are definitely to be there to give their inlet of water within these main rivers. So Narmada have its tributaries, but they are quite short. Most of these join the main stream at the right angles. This is the right angle. Suppose this is the passage and a tributary is joining it at the right angle. It means we are talking about the Narmada river. So the Narmada basin covers part of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat, to be learned. So this is the star. It means 1 mark, important question. And this is the entire drainage basin itself. Point. Talking about the Tapi basin, another river, it is also having its flow towards the westward direction within the Arabian Sea. So the Tapi rises in the Satpura ranges lying almost in the Betul district of Madhya Pradesh. So Narmada and Tapi, they do rise from the Madhya Pradesh district itself. Amarkantak Hills for the Narmada's origin, and for the Tapi river's origin, we do have the Madhya Pradesh region itself, but it also originates nearby Amarkantak Hills itself. Also flows in a rift valley as the Narmada. So particularly Vindhya and Satpura, two ranges are there, and in between lies the valleys and gorges regions, and there lies the rift valley itself. So also flows in a rift valley parallel to the Narmada. Just told you, but it is much shorter in the length. So Tapi is smaller in length or in the huge drainage part. Its basin covers part of Madhya Pradesh. So Narmada and Tapi both covers Madhya Pradesh along with Gujarat. Again the same case, but Maharashtra is covered by Tapi, not by the Narmada over here. Coastal plains between Western Ghats and Arabian Seas. They are known as Western Coastal Plains also. So these are narrow plains because there is less distance within the the ghats areas and the coastal region. I'm not talking about the coastal plains. How I should tell you, you can consider this. And of course, at my back, there is a map. We are going to discuss that also. But here for a while, the in between space we are talking about. So for this space we are talking about, it's narrow. And so the western coastal rivers are short. Main west flowing rivers, Sabarmati. So these are not prominently the important or significant rivers as we are talking about the six main one. These are the important tributaries, and in here we are talking about Tapi river itself. So main west flowing rivers, Sabarmati, Mahi, then we have Bharatpuzha and Periyar. Talking about this map itself, I hope you can easily differentiate between the wide plains and the narrow plains. These are this green part entirely. I won't use my yellow in the entire part, but just to show you this entire green belt, not from here I'm talking about. Beneath one is the western coastal plains, and this entire blue strip you can see till here, this is the eastern coastal plains. So these are more broader, wider than the western coastal plains. Only this thing has been taught over here and written as well. Talking about the next river basin, third one, Godavari basin, also known as Dakshin Ganga in Hindi and Deccan Ganga in English, but the term is authentically the Hindi one. So it is the largest peninsular river. It rises from the slopes of the Western Ghats. It rises from Western Ghats itself. But where exactly? In the Maharashtra state, in the Nasik district. And its length is about 1500 kilometer, and it drains its water into Bay of Bengal. Now we are discussing the rivers particularly that do have their eastward flow and they drain their water into the Arabian Sea. Drainage basin, it is the largest among the peninsular rivers because it is the largest river also. It covers part of Maharashtra, about 50% of Maharashtra, then Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. So third river is covering Madhya Pradesh state. Narmada is also covering, Tapi is also covering and Godavari is also covering. Some tributaries of our Godavari river, Purna, Varda, Pranhita, but among them, these are the very large tributaries, not as large as the Godavari. So these are Manjara, Venganga, Penganga. Its vast length, we are talking about their length and coverage on it along with the Godavari's length. So we are talking about its vast length and coverage on it, the name Dakshin Ganga. Already told you, here is the flow of the entire Godavari that is forming the Godavari basin. Every river forms its basin because its water flow from that region. So these are Sabri, Indravati, some more are there, but in whole, this is the drainage basin of Godavari river system within the peninsular part. Next, the fourth one, the Mahanadi basin. Mahanadi river flows entirely through this region. So it rises in the highlands of Chhattisgarh. It flows through Odisha. So Chhattisgarh is particularly new state that has been extracted from Odisha over here to reach the Bay of Bengal. Length is about 860 kilometers. Drainage basin started by Maharashtra. Drainage basins shared by Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Odisha itself. The Krishna basin rises from a spring, not any particular elevated mainland, just through a spring itself near Mahabaleshwar, the only to be considered as the hill station of Maharashtra state, Mahabaleshwar. It flows for about 1400 kilometers and gives flow into the Bay of Bengal, and here is its flow. Similarly, we'll be having the flow map for the other two as well. But before then, that tributaries of this river, so Tungbhadra, Koyana, Ghatprabha, Musi, Bhima, and its drainage basin covers the region of Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Coming ahead, Kaveri basin, almost the last or one is remaining. Let's see. So it rises in the Brahmagiri range of the Western Ghats. Again, origin is in Western Ghats. It reaches the Bay of Bengal. Eastward flow is there in the south of Kudalur in Tamil Nadu, and its entire length is just about 760 kilometers. So not that long one. Talking about its main tributaries and the drainage basin it covers and shares. So Amravati, Bhavani, Hemvati and Kabini are its tributaries, and it covers the regions of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So we can say extreme southern part, because these three states are the extreme southern one. Then we have a particular term, Shiv Samudram Falls. Second biggest waterfall in India, made by the Kaveri River. So of course, it lies in the extreme southern states of India. And of course, if there are the waterfalls, that too the second biggest waterfalls in India. So quite obviously, hydroelectricity power plant is to be there. So here is it. Hydroelectric power generated from the fall supplied to Mysore, Bangalore, Bangalore. So the current name is Bangalore. Mysuru is also not there. Earlier it was to be known as Mysore, and the Kolar gold fields. So do remember the Shiv Samudram Falls, second largest waterfalls in India. Smaller rivers flowing towards the east. These are Damodar, Brahmani, Baitarani and Subarnarekha. And Subarnarekha is quite an important river for the gold fields and iron plant that is situated in the almost eastern part. I won't say extreme east, that goes for northeast part. So I'm talking about the region that lies by the Chota Nagpur plateau itself. Water on earth, we all know that 71 or roughly 70% of the world's surface is covered with water. That comprises 97% of salty water, only 3% of fresh water. Out of 3%, we just have 1% of the kind of fresh water that we do consume through the rainfall, through the rivers, through the glaciers. So 3/4 of fresh water is trapped as ice. So what remains at the back? Hardly last part. Features of major peninsular river was to be and is to be the outcome of our today's class. So we have discussed the entire drainage system, drainage pattern of the peninsular rivers that flows entirely in southern part of India, comprising 6 important rivers. Names please. Yes, they are Narmada Tapi that flows towards the west side, and they drain their water into the Arabian Sea. Rest of the 4, Godavari, Mahanadi, Krishna, Kaveri, they are east flowing river. They give their water outlet into the Bay of Bengal. So that was all about this class. Now is the time to recall the things that we have discussed with the help of 3 particular questions. I hope that are 3 only. So let's do that. Godavari river is also known as Dakshin Ganga, as it is the longest one. Dakshin Ganga. Next question. There is, which of the following rivers flow westward and creates an estuary? So that is without any doubt Godavari. No, we are talking about the westward flow. So this have eastward flow, eastward flow, eastward flow. Only one river in this list is Narmada, and that factfully forms the or creates the estuary as well. Last question for the day, which river creates the Shiv Samudram Falls? So it is Kaveri. So see you soon in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.